Comic-Con went down this weekend, and I was in the thick of it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Darío World!
It's a me,
Darío!
Woohoo! Let's go!
I'm dead. But in the best way possible. I had a phenomenal weekend. Fantastic. I'm behind on everything. I haven't checked messages, emails, everything. So today is going to be all pretty much about catching up on stuff. Unfortunately, the podcast is going to have to be a quickie. I'll get into it in a bit, but just let me get this out of the way. If you want to listen to the podcast, you can always find it in the iHeartRadio app. Just type in The Show Presents, Super Darío World, or you can find it on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube as Super Darío World Podcast. I almost forgot the name of my own podcast. I am out of it. My brain is dead. I'm exhausted. Not as exhausted as last year. This year was very, very different. For those of you who don't know, I spent the weekend doing press stuff for Comic-Con, and I got into a bunch of really, really interesting situations. I went to see a whole bunch of experiences, got to meet a whole bunch of celebrities. I did my very first and second red carpet. It was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal weekend. I can't tell you how. I'll try to get into as much as I did. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get into it all today. I have to skedaddle. I have to get out of here because my landlord decided that they want to fix up our garage, and so they need somebody there to open up for them and all that stuff. And unfortunately, that has to be me because for those of you who may or may not know, I don't know if I should say this. No, I'll save this one for a later podcast. But I want to do a whole bunch of things this week. Mainly Comic-Con. I want to talk a lot about Comic-Con. I have a lot of things to say. I have too much material. That's a real problem that I have right now. I have too much material. I have too much audio, video. I have some, but I can't talk about it all. I can't show it all because A, I don't have some, and B, my friend Derek Sante, who got me the gig, he was on the podcast before. You might remember him. He asked me specifically, "Hey, dude, please don't use this material yet. I'm going to try to sell it a little bit, and then you can use it." He said it shouldn't be more than a few days, but he asked me specifically not to use certain clips because we had a phenomenal moment. I got to be there. He had a surprise for a particular star, and it went down perfectly. It's a person who's a professional at speaking to the press was dumbfounded. He was speechless. He was like a little kid. It was a great moment to be a part of. I wish I could say more. I can't say it right now, but I will show you. At one point this week, I will at least either talk about it or show you the video that I have because I took extra video on my phone. Probably won't sound as well as his material, but I don't care. That it was just a phenomenal moment to be in there. So okay. Also, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because I have too much things to talk about. Too many things. I asked my kick brother if he could stop by the studio sometime this week, probably Thursday, because I promised that I would finally do the Do You Know What the Gangbanging story? I mean, I don't know if I'll have time. Oh, I guess it all depends on whether or not he makes it, because he was a part. I know this is going to sound really weird, but he was a part of the Do You Know What a Gangbanging story? It happened while we were on vacation in Europe together, so I want to be here so that he can check me in certain things, and also it's more directly related to him. So it's I just want to be here in the room so we can talk about. Also, we could talk about the whole trip and everything. But I'm thinking I also got invited on Wednesday to the screening of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So on Thursday, I wanted to do. I usually watch a movie and the next day I make a review. So if I'm going to do the review and the gangbang story, I don't know if it might be too much. I don't know. But I mean, fortunately, the show that I work for, Rock 105.3's, the show in San Diego, is off during the week. So I may be able to do a little bit more material. That's why I'm not really worried. This week is going to be a whole bunch of me just unloading material. I haven't gone through most of the stuff on my phone. I loaded it on my Instagram stories. By the way, at Darío the Show on Instagram, you can follow me there. Throughout the weekend, I just loaded a whole bunch of Instagram stories of things that I was seeing, people I was meeting. But I have so much more in there. Today, I'm going to just, like I said, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm just going to go through all that stuff. I'll post it. I won't just do an Instagram story. I will actually start doing posts, so you can check it out there. And then I'll just start talking about it. I want to do like a video edit on YouTube for it. And since the show is off for the week, I guess I'll have time to do it. So yeah, because it's one thing. It's just me talking about it. Like if I say, "Oh, do you know I met this actress from this show?" Sometimes you might not know her from that. But if you see her picture, you're like, "Oh my God, I know her from this." So I'll just probably do that. I think it's easier for people that way. I'm not fantastic. I know because I'm not great with names. I'm really good with faces. I'm really bad with names. So, but overall, the experience was phenomenal. And like I said, this year was very different. We did something very different. Usually, okay, let me see if I can break this down. Last year, what happened is they basically gave me a mic and and a camera. Well, and a friend of mine who helped me out, Cody, he was going to be my camera guy. We brought some of our equipment. We got some equipment from them. And they basically they gave us a time to be in a certain room and just and they put you on a thing called press lines. Now, usually in the press rooms, how this works is they do a press line. Well, they walk in and immediately they take pictures, right, for newspapers and stuff or magazines. And then there's a line of cameras and people with microphones. That's called a press line. So after the pictures, they send some of the stars of the show. So let's say we're doing Black Lightning, all right, because I did Black Lightning last year and this year. So the stars of Black Lightning walk in, they take pictures, and then they send half the cast down the press line, and then half the cast on to do a table thing. I'm blanking out on the name. I'm serious. My brain is burned out. And just to clarify, I'm not tired because I think that what I did was difficult or exhausting, or I'm very happy I did it. I didn't. It's not a burden at all. It's just sometimes imagine you have to cram a person's entire career into your head in 2 to 3 minutes before you get to talk to them. It's really hard. Or just go through an entire season of a show you never heard of, because that happened a few times. Like, okay, this person showed up. Who the fuck is that? I don't know. What show is he on? I don't fucking know. And you got to start doing a whole bunch of research. The internet's slow. It's time crunch. It's really stressful. You have to make up stuff on the fly. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it. But it's you need a break. At the end of the day, you're like, I need a beer. I need a freaking beer. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so they divide the half, and some of it are gonna sit on the table. And how this works is, let's say there's 3 to 5 tables with 8 to 8. Let's say you can sit 10 people on a table, right? So there's gonna be 9 reporters on a table and 1 empty spot. And so one of the stars of the show is going to sit there. They're going to talk. They're going to do like 3, 4, or 5 minutes, depending on how big the cast is. Everybody gets to kind of do a question, and then they move on to another table. That's how that works. That's the table. That one kind of sucks because, I mean, you get a little bit more time with them, but you have to share questions. Sometimes certain people are pushy. You don't get the one-on-one interaction. That's not as cool. And at the end, you don't get to ask for a picture. That's to me the biggest bummer, because you're like, hey, usually, because you don't get that personal interaction. To me, I'm a big handshake guy, all right? If you listen to the show this morning, I'm on Team Eddie, I'm on Team Robert. You need to shake people's hands. That, to me, that's how I was raised. Like, oh, hi, Dario, how's it going? How's the con treating you? You do a little bit of that before, so you're not just a random person just yelling questions at you. You're actually having a conversation. So I try to always go for the handshake. And so I just don't like the table ones, okay? But on the press line, they go one by one through each of the cameras. Usually, sometimes they start on either side. Doesn't matter. Then when they come to you, depending on the time, it's how many questions you can ask. So usually they say 2 to 3 questions, because I don't know why everybody's always late. And everybody always cheats at this. It pisses me off. Everybody else always cheats. Like I keep my interviews 2 to 3 minutes, usually. And to me, that's more than enough to get a few questions out of the way, to get kind of like a personal moment or something. And I think that's the professional thing to do, because that's what they ask me to do. Other people, they just hug. They just hog the stars there, and they ask them like 15, 20 questions. You keep them there for like 20 minutes. And then at the end of it, the reps are like, okay, well, you need to hurry it up. You get maybe 1 question, or we won't get any time for you. So fortunately, the way that I did this year and I did last year, I stick to the rules. You say I get 1 or 2 questions, I only do 1 or 2 questions maybe. I stick to the rules. And in the end of the day, I know that I tend to be a rule breaker for a lot of things. For for this particular reason, I feel like it helps me out because in certain situations where they're like, oh man, we won't have time at all. When I ask them, I feel they're like, okay, this guy followed our rules. It won't be more than 2 or 3 minutes. We can do it. We can fit him in. So I feel like that helps me out in the end. Other people, I heard them say no to other people, but I still got my yes because they know that if they ask me, you can only do one question. If they tell me you can only do one question, I'm only doing one question. That's just, to me, it's a pretty simple way of looking at it. But anyway, so that's how I did it last year. I either got a press line or a table thing. So this year, very different experience. I still got some of those, quite a few. But we also, my friend Derek Sante, he got a room this year at the Hilton because this all goes down at the Hilton. And so he got the entire cast of a show, or sometimes just a star, whatever, to go into the room. And so it's like a table thing, but it's one reporter, one press guy, and a whole cast. So you get to interact with all of them. And he had this really clever bit of where he put some coloring books there. So not coloring books, like coloring some Crayolas and some sheets where they can color a still from their show. So it's really fun because while you're having the conversation with one of them, others can be coloring. It relaxes the room and makes things a little bit more amicable. You get 15 minutes total with everybody. It was genius. I talked with a whole bunch of them afterwards because we met up at certain situations, and they were like, "Dude, that was my favorite interview. That was the best one I did. I was relaxed. I got to color. We also had some toys in the room, and I need to get into the toys at one point because, well, okay, all right. I need to save that for another moment because the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to go day by day, right? I was there a grand total of 5 days. The first day I did experiences. And the last 4, it was mostly interviews and stuff. Well, the last day I only did interviews for one show, but I stayed there for this particular magical moment that we caught on film. So, oh my God, I don't even know how I should start. Okay, anyway, so that's the other new thing that we have this year. And the other thing that they added to me this year is they said that I could do a red carpet. So I got to do the red carpet for what was it, Cirque du Soleil. It was an event at the Hard Rock, and I got to do the red carpet for that, Cirque du Soleil. The show's phenomenal. I'll get into that. I'll get into that more because, like I said, I met way too many people. I don't remember half their names. I know their characters, but their names sometimes are really hard. And I also got to do the red carpet event for EW, which is Entertainment Weekly, the party that they have, which is the biggest party in San Diego, apparently. And oh my fucking God. I could not believe how many stars were there. I could not believe. And this is not like me saying like, oh yeah, there was one big star and everything. No. There were hundreds of TV or movie stars in that freaking party. It was insane. The people sometimes were just, some of them stop and talk to you. Some of them just power through. I'll get into that. That happens Saturday. But let's start with the simple one, and I'll just do this one really quickly. The experiences, right? This happened Wednesday. The first day that I went to Comic-Con. The experiences, we got to go into preview night, and I got to do the experience for, in total, I did South Park. I did The Expanse, which is a show on Amazon. I did a little thing for The Boys, the new Amazon superhero show, and the Brooklyn Nine-Nine experience. It was fantastic. So in The Expanse, they kind of take you into a little in a spaceship. They pretend to put you in a spaceship, and then they drop you off in a planet that people are trying to colonize, and they kind of put you in the middle of an episode. They break you up. So you need to talk with each other in order to understand the stories. So imagine they drop you off in a Mars-like planet, and some of the people, they're in the middle of kind of a revolt. Some people are like, dude, just leave us alone. We don't want the government in here. Just could you give us money so we can pay for stuff so that we can survive out here and the government doesn't have to come in because we left other fucking planets so they wouldn't come here and deal with this bullshit. And there's also a guy who's being tried for murder who thinks that he's being set up. So you kind of have to go and interrogate that prisoner. My storyline was basically the guy asking me for money. I very politely said, no, thank you. And then they try to convince you to get into an illegal smuggling job. I did not finish that completely because I got pulled off to something else. And then there's an attack coming in. It's really cool. It's a really interactive, awesome experience. It was a lot of fun. The thing with The Voice is something very similar, but except it's in the TV show The Boys, which is about superheroes, naughty superheroes pretty much, and the boys who are the guys who kind of spank them and make sure that they stay in line. So that one I didn't get to do the whole thing. We found there was a secret store at the behind that. And if you go in there, they'd give you like a comic book. You take a picture to be a part of their secret club. You do a darts game. If you win the darts game, you get a free comic book. It was really fun. It was like a nice little hidden gem there that I really enjoyed. Then the South Park thing, it was mini golf. And I gotta tell you, I did not remember how much I loved mini golf. It's so much fun. My next date, mini golf. For sure. I told Cody that the only thing that sucked about there is that I wasn't with a girl, that I had to do it with him. But no, for sure, definitely mini golf was a lot of fun. You kind of like go through certain storylines of South Park. It's you go through hell. You go through, you pass by Man Bear Pig. At the end, they give you some like collectible cards and some stickers. It's a lot of fun. I love South Park. South Park, I've always said that it's the smartest TV show on TV. It's genius the way that they can ridiculize. They make ridicule of everything. Then there was, the Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Nine-Nine! This one, I did not know what to expect. Now, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a show that I started kind of late. And it was good because I ended up binge watching all of it. I thought that show was going to suck. I had issues with Andy Samberg, and I never thought that I would believe him as a police officer. It turns out the show completely, it's set in a police station, but it's not really about police procedure that much. It's a hilarious comedy. It's become one of my favorite shows, or at least one of my favorite comedies, because it's so stupid, and I love stupid comedies. To me, that's just there's something just freeing or liberating. That there's so much you can play around with that I really enjoy when you just decide, you know what, we're going to be ridiculous, and so I love that style of comedy. Anyway. In that one, it's like they're pretending to recruit a whole bunch of people for the 9-9. And the people who are doing it, some of them are actors, local actors, pretending to be, part of the 9-9. But there's also a video from the cast. So you get Andy Samberg, you get Terry Crews, and they're doing a video. Well, they do several videos trying to like explain what's going to happen, how it's going to go, why they're there at San Diego at Comic-Con, why they think that you'd make great detectives. It's a really interesting and fun experience. Then that's in the briefing room. Then they put you out in the bullpen. And if you've watched the show, they have a thing called the heist, which is basically you have to, whoever steals a certain like WWE belt is the winner. Basically, whoever steals it by the end of the night is the winner. And so they separate you in teams, 3 teams, and you have to find certain clues and can complete certain tasks in order to win that belt. It was so much fun. And my team won. Team Red 9-9. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a truly interactive experience. Oh, and also it wasn't does it count? No, this was Thursday, so I'll save the Orville one because it wasn't really an experience. We were just there drinking. So and I did some interviews there, so I'll save that one. Anyway, so all these things are phenomenal. All these things that happen on the street, because you didn't even need a pass. You didn't even need a Comic-Con pass to go to these things. You can just do those on the street. My only knock is that I don't know why they haven't figured out. Well, if you're press, you're on the list. You can get in. Simple, cool. I have no idea why they haven't figured out, or why nobody has done this for those particular experiences. I have no idea why they don't do like a check-in time. Like, for example, you register online, and they give you a check-in time. So let's say you have a window between 3 and 4 on Saturday to go for this experience. That'd be great. That way you're not standing like an a-hole in line for days in the sun. That would suck. I don't understand why they don't do that. They should definitely do that. It's way better. It's way easier. Comic-Con would be way more of an enjoyable experience. I was speaking to Cody, again, Cody, my camera guy, And he was like, dude, I don't think I could do Comic-Con normal again because we get a few perks. Fortunately, for being press, you get a few perks. You can RSVP to things. You can skip lines on a lot of things. You get a ton of free stuff. You get a ton of free food. You get a ton of free drinks. So, yeah, I could not do Comic-Con normally either. No chance in hell. But I don't understand. Like, other people, like, dude, these are, if you look at it, they're kind of your customers, or you're trying to pitch something to them. You want them to, they're fans of your stuff, or they're potential fans. Make the experience is good enough. It's great. It's a fantastic experience. But if you make getting to the experience also an easier thing, it'll be better. I mean, imagine you're standing in line all fucking day. For hours just to get on one experience. That would suck. If they tell you, oh, at this time on this day you can get in, totally different. You'd be like, okay, this is perfect. This is great. I can plan my day around the things to do. Anyway, that's the thing that I think they should do. But okay. That's it for today. That's Comic-Con Part 1. Tomorrow, I will get deeper into it. And again, it's just me in the studio. It's just going to be me in the studio. So I'm going to go through a lot of things. And I mean a lot of things because a lot happened. And I'm going to go deep. And there was a lot of shocking moments. And there was a lot of embarrassing moments. And there was a really heartwarming moment. But anyway, that's it for today. I know that I usually do on Mondays the Game of Thrones things, but again, this week's gonna be tight. It's gonna be a tight week for me. So Game of Thrones rewrite will continue on next Monday. And okay, that's it for today. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, find me at Darío the Show on Instagram. It may take me a little bit to reply because I am backed up on certain messages there on Facebook, emails. I'm backed up on everything, but I'll do my best to catch up today on as much as I can because I took the day off. There's like, all right, I did the station thing. The rest of the day I'm taking it off because I can't even go to the gym because I have to be there for the stupid garage thing. It doesn't really matter. So that's it for today. And okay, tomorrow we'll continue with Comic-Con. So it will be day 2, Comic-Con day 2. This is Thursday. So I actually got some interviews and I did my first red carpet. So, okay, we'll get into that tomorrow. As always, thank you for listening and I'll see you again tomorrow.